Good morning. So I'm heading to work. You're going to start to see videos like this. Of course, this is a prepper channel, but there's times when you and I just got to be alone to talk. You know, can't be in a crowded house and whatnot. I'll show you the pretty food piles and all the pretty expensive water filtration systems later on. But first we have to lay a foundation to prepping. Now, I don't profess to be an expert in prepping, and I'm going to tell you why. I, like 99.9999% of the prepper channels, have never had to live through a financial collapse or anything that would warrant prepping. I said 9999. There's always a chance there's a 0.1 or 2 people around that maybe had to survive the floods of Louisiana or things like that. But on the whole, most people are not experts, and we can only just theorize by looking at the things that we need around the house to survive on a daily basis, right? So, saying that, I got a lot of people from my old YouTube channel that have come over here. I started this second channel because that first channel was shadow banned a lot. I was saying things that weren't deemed, I don't know. We'll just leave it at that. This channel will never try to, myself or anybody on this channel that you see, will never try to sell you anything. But I am going to make strong suggestions that you go out and buy it independently of me. That means I'm not going to send you to a site that is co-owned by me, and anytime you click on a link, I click revenue. I already discussed this in the first video. So, but I'm going to make some strong suggestions, and one of the foundations that we need to do for prepping purposes is get our financial means in order. Now, I'm not talking about a bank account with dollars in it. No, absolutely not. I'm not talking about getting a bunch of fiat currency. No, absolutely not. I'm talking about gold and silver. Now, for me, most of it is silver because that's what I can afford. Now, I know a lot of people who join me from my YouTube channel have already got a stockpile of silver and possibly gold in their gun safe. That's great. I'm not talking to them right now. I'm talking to the new subscribers who just have seen me for the first time, who might not have any gold or silver. I'm going to strongly suggest that you go out and you buy some gold or silver. Silver's fine. Go and get it. And I'm going to tell you why. Most of us are prepping for a reason. You have your reason, I have mine. Mine happens to be, I am deeply in fear of an economic collapse. As a matter of fact, this morning I heard 50%, slightly over 50% of the dollars collected for taxes, over 50% of those tax dollars are going to service our current debt. And every year it gets higher and higher and higher. I'm in fear of an economic collapse, and I'm working to prepare for that so I can go and buy provisions in the event that that happens, because when that happens, the dollar is going to crash. It's going to be worthless. So you can have your $1 million in your bank account or $1 million in your gun safe. It's going to be worthless. Silver, on the other hand, retains its value. And if you look at Genesis in the Bible, I don't quote the Bible a lot because it turns a lot of people off. God forbid we turn anybody off. You'll get a little bit of that from me also, a little sarcasm. Gold and silver in Genesis, in the Bible, very beginning of the Bible. If you're unfamiliar with the Bible, it's in Genesis, first chapter, first story. Gold and silver has that longevity, that historical track record. It'll never go to zero. unlike the dollar, unlike many monetary systems in our history. Gold and silver has never gone to zero. Now, while it might not make you rich, it's an excuse me, it's an awesome insurance policy. Now, when I started my first channel, silver was $14. It was 13 and change. And I did the same thing. A lot of the silver channels were up and coming at the time, and they went out and got it. Silver is substantially higher now, and to this day, many of them do not regret getting that insurance policy. And it's the basis, it's the baseline, it's the foundation for every prepper, in my opinion. There's many places that you can get gold and silver and not have to worry about it. And I am not sponsored by either of these two. There's more than two, but I'm just going to name out two, and I just need to tell you, I'm not sponsored by them. JM Bullion, that's JM Bullion. Highly reputable, and it will arrive at your door. APMEX, APMEX.com. Highly reputable, but it will arrive at your door. APMEX might be a tad bit more expensive. However, a lot of times APMEX has items that other places have already run out of, just to let you know. Places not to buy gold and silver. Please, I implore you. Gold and silver are, you can get a lot of fake stuff out there if you China-made fakes. If you go on eBay, I don't care what their seller's rating is, do not buy gold and silver on eBay. Do not buy gold and silver on Craigslist. If you're early to rise for, I know, yard sales, you see mom and pop selling some, you might consider picking it up then. You know what I mean? You might consider picking it up then. If the price is right, but definitely not eBay, definitely not Craigslist. And even if it tests real, the Chinese counterfeits, they'll have a slug, I call them. In New York, when we call fake coins slugs, but they'll line or they microcoat the slug with silver. It'll look just like a silver eagle. So just be careful where you buy. JM Bullion, APMEX. There's a few other online places that maybe some of the others in the comment section could recommend. That's another thing about this type of channel. I don't hold a script. There's nothing polished about me. There's not somebody standing over here holding up little cards, and it's all from here. It's all from here. I talk as what I feel needs to be talked about at the time, and it just comes out my mouth. You're gonna hear foo-bars coming out of my mouth every now and then. Mistakes is what I meant. I try to keep my cussing at a very minimum, and when I do cuss, it's not the bad words. I mean, not the horrible words. You know what I mean? So speaking of the type of coins, and I'm again talking to the new subscribers to this channel, the people who don't have any gold or silver yet. You can always buy generic rounds and generic bars, okay? You're gonna get your best bang for the buck, and in future videos, I'll pull out the silver and the gold from my gun safe, and I'll show you what I recommend. But this is just a one-on-one on the way to work morning chat. So we will get into a more granular video in future weeks to come. So generic rounds, those are coins, and generic bars. I like the 1 ounce increments, 5 ounce increments, and 10 ounce increments. Your taste might vary. The majority of my gold and silver stack happens to be American Silver Eagles. I said that slowly so you can write it down and Google it. American Silver Eagles, Canadian Maple Leafs. Those are the bulk of my stack. Though more expensive, sorry about the lighting, I'm heading directly east into the sun. Although more expensive, they are more recognizable when you need to go out and sell them. A generic round might not be recognizable, and they might have to do oh wow, we've got some fog here. Tucson, Arizona, we got fog. I don't know if you can, the wide angle. There's a pecan, I'll just see if I can do a pecan farm here, and it just kind of got that, the trees are bare, almost haunted looking, and the fog coming up. It's actually kind of cool. It's like looking into an old cemetery. You know, they might have to test the coins if they don't recognize them. Now, thankfully, you can take your gold and silver to sell to a local coin shop. They'll recognize just about any coin you lay in front of them. And speaking of reputable places to buy gold and silver, I've already mentioned JM Bullion and APMEX online dealers. Your local coin shops are also very good to buy and sell gold and silver. As a matter of fact, if you buy from a local coin shop, they start to recognize you. You build a rapport. You know what I mean? And you get better deals, believe it or not. When you become one of their better customers, not like the meth addicts, I'll just say it the way it sounds. Not like the meth addicts who just stole or or found something and they're in there to get their next drug fix and they're selling something. So what I meant is, when you become familiar to them and you'll build a rapport, and they'll give you closer to spot price, which I'll cover in the future videos as well. I love going to my local coin shops. Some of the best deals I've ever gotten, actually, off of silver. And you can actually buy new coins as well. So there you have it. Get some silver. Do not buy, in my opinion, stocks on silver or anything. You want to get away from paper, and you want to get to physical money, physical, tangible money, and that's gold and silver. You want it in your safe. You don't want to buy from a company that says they can store it for you. Excuse me, I just had a hiccup. Because chances are they're selling that same ounce of coin to 20 other people. And one person calls it in, they need it delivered. The other 19 are screwed. Okay? Take possession of your gold and silver. You're an adult. You can handle holding your own gold and silver in your own house. If you don't have a gun safe, I urge you to get one. I like Sturdy, a company called Sturdy. They custom make them. I think they're better than Liberty. They might not look as pretty as Liberty, but they're good. I have one. I'll do a future video about my gun safe. Again, I'm not sponsored by the company. It's just something I've owned for... It's a gun safe I've owned, I think, since 2011. And normally I do reviews on something I've owned a while. You know, I have a historical track record with that product. It's held up. It looks as brand new as the day it was delivered. Sturdy, gun safe. And to include the shelving, carpeting, everything about that, inside and out, is just immaculate. And it's moved quite a few times. So anyway, I've spoken, I've articulated the best I could about getting some gold and silver. You're gonna see plenty of gold and silver videos from me, okay? Because it is the foundation of every prepper. I mean, you go to some of the big prepper channels and you look at some of their very, very first years worth of videos, we'll just say that, and you're going to see a lot of precious metal videos in those channels. They might not talk about it any longer because to them that subject has gotten old and they're ignoring their new subscribers. But definitely look into some gold and silver. Get on JM Bullion, just shop around, look around. I gotta run. I'm getting into work. You take care of yourselves.